Sachi-san awarded. All right, well, like we say here in Harambe, Twin Day means let's go. All right, Jumbo everyone, and welcome to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. My name is Tess, and I'll be your safari guide here today. Just a couple of quick reminders, though, as we get ready to head out into the reserve. I'd like to remind us all to remain seated for the entire trip, keeping those arms, hands, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. That means no standing, no passing anyone side to side, and absolutely do not hold anyone up in the air like Simba. There is no music, there is no musical chairs. You guys are all winners of the seat you're in. Congratulations. Now another quick note, my friends, as we head through the reserve, remember that we are the visitors here, and this is the animals' home, so please do not call, whistle, or shout up to the animals when you see them, as you will find that they do not like it. They're more likely to come closer to the truck if we keep those voices at a nice inside level. With that said, though, we are going to start our trip here in the Little Ituri Forest. Now, animals here in the Ituri can sometimes be a little tricky to spot, as they make use of natural camouflaging to help themselves better blend into their environment. Animals like the okapi over here to the right. Now, because of the striped pattern there on the okapi's hind legs, many people assume the okapi is closely related to a zebra. Actually, the only relative to the okapi is going to be a giraffe. As because the giraffes and okapis share very similar skull structures, as well as a prehensile tongue. Now, that prehensile tongue allows them to reach around branches to grab all the leaves they want to eat. Fun fact about the okapi, they actually weren't largely discovered until about 1901. Stories of the okapi were passed down for centuries. Oh, but over here to our left, we're getting a pretty good look at a black rhino. Now, black rhinos are unfortunately poached out in the wild for their horns. Many people falsely believe that a rhino's horn contains some medicinal properties. It's actually no more medicinal than your very own fingernails. It's because a rhino's horn and our fingernails are both made out of something called keratin. Keratin can also be found in your hair, so a couple things you have in common with a rhino. Well, with that, my friends, it looks like we are going to be heading out of the Ituri Forest. And our next stop will bring us down to the Safi River. As we head down to the Safi River, go ahead and keep your eye out on that water line. So just may be able to spot a hippo or two. Now, hippos can be a little tricky to spot sometimes, as they spend a lot of their time underwater. Hippos can actually hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time. So it is not uncommon to catch a hippo sleeping underwater. Just like how we breathe naturally in our sleep, though, a hippo will naturally float to the surface whenever they need to catch a breath. Also, over to the right, you'll see those large white birds there. Those are the pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name for the pink color they turn during their mating season. During that time, male pelicans will start walking with large sticks in their mouth, doing so to show off to the ladies that they can build a strong nest together. Now, if you look over here to the left, though, looks like we have a whole group of hippos just behind that island. Now, hippos are one of those lucky animals that get fun group names. So a group of hippos all together is going to be called a bloat. So behind that island there, we saw a floating bloat of hippos. Now again, because hippos can hold their breath for so long underwater, it goes without saying that they are excellent swimmers. Just because they're good at swimming, though, doesn't mean they like to. Much prefer to just walk along the bottom of the riverbed here. Really, why swim if you don't have to, you know? Now, if you would like to get a closer look at the hippos, there is another opportunity to do so here in Animal Kingdom. If you go through the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, that'll take you up to some underwater viewing windows. so you can see just how the hippos move underwater.
Alright,
Now coming up and around this corner, we're going to be passing by a baobab tree. Now baobab trees are also known as an upside down tree. Now taking a good hard look at it, it's a real head scratcher how it got that name. But a baobab tree will look like that for about 9 months of the year, doing so without its leaves to better conserve water there in the trunk. In fact, the trunk of a baobab tree is made of a spongy material. That spongy material allows it to hold hundreds of gallons worth of water right inside the tree trunk itself. In fact, many animals out on the savanna know that if other water sources run dry, they can always come up to a baobab tree as an additional source of water. Now, coming down into the savanna, it looks like there are several animals up and about this morning. Now, I'm going to point out one that's a little hard to see, but if you look straight back through the gap of those trees over there, you'll see those gray animals laying down. Those are the wildebeest. Wildebeest are also known, wildebeest are some of the most densely migratory animals, as they can migrate in herds as large as 1 million. Now a little further up, halfway between us and the next trek, you're going to see the Hartman Mountain zebra. Now we will get a lot closer to them as well. You can tell the Hartman Mountain zebra is apart from other types of zebras due to the more pronounced stripe pattern that they have on their hind legs. Of course, you can also see the giraffes walking way back there in the distance. Now, as we get closer, pay attention to their spots. So you can tell the Maasai giraffes apart from other types of giraffe due to those spots, as they're more irregular in shape. Each spot pattern is going to be unique to that individual, as unique as a human fingerprint. That's actually not the only thing we have in common with the giraffe. Despite how long their necks are, giraffes only have about 7 neck vertebrae. There's about 7 bones there in their neck. It just so happens to be the same number of vertebrae we have in our own neck. Over here to the left, if you look in the far left-hand corner and along the tree line, you'll see some of the painted dogs. Painted dogs are some of the most successful pack hunters. They have a success rate of about 80 to 90%. Compare them to a lion, though. Lions only get about 30 to 40% of their prey. Now, coming up here on our left-hand side as well, here we're going to see the sable antelope. A sable antelope should look a little familiar, as they are the emblem to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Sable antelope were chosen to be the mascot because they'll use those horns to fiercely defend themselves against predators. That's kind of the energy we wanted to bring here. We want to become fierce defenders of not only the animals here on the reserve, but around the world as well. Now, just past this termite mound here, you're going to see this small, s'more-colored animal grazing. That's going to be one of the springbok. Springboks are the smallest type of antelope. Don't let their size fool you, though. They're also some of the fastest land animals, as it can hit top speeds of about 50 to 60 miles per hour. That puts them just under what a cheetah can run. Here we're going to get a closer look at the Maasai giraffe. Now, like hippos, giraffes also get a pretty fun group name. Does anyone know what you call a group of giraffes? A tower. Get it? Because they're both tall. Nailed it. Now, you might see that one in the back stretching their neck out real long to get to the leaves just above their head. Now, from there, they'll make use of a long prehensile tongue as well. Now, go ahead and take a moment to look at your own arm, as a giraffe's tongue is about the length from your shoulder to the tips of your fingers. Here on the right, we're getting a closer look at the Hartman Mountain zebras. You can see that this is mom and baby. This baby's taking a little nap there. Now another thing that sets the Hartman Mountain zebras apart from other types of zebras is actually going to be the size of their hearts. Hartman Mountain zebras are found at higher elevations, meaning that their hearts are going to be a little larger in size, allowing them to more effectively and efficiently pump blood through their system, allowing more oxygen to be carried through. This giraffe here on the left is really trying to get to those tasty leaves up there. Now giraffes will spend most of their day eating. Very little time is devoted to sleep, as giraffes will only sleep about 30 minutes a day. That's not even 30 minutes all at once either. They just take quick little power naps. Here we're going to have a better look at the wildebeest. Now wildebeest also have another name. They're also known as gnu. Now that's spelled G-N-U. Actually get that name for the low guttural N sound that they make. Looks like we're going to get to see one more or two more giraffes of the tower. It's okay, take your time. Now you might notice as the giraffe walks, they have a pretty interesting stride. They'll move their weight from one side to the other, shifting their weight from the right side to the left, moving their legs in time. Now when a giraffe takes off running, it does switch up their gait a little bit. As the giraffe starts running, they'll start shifting their weight from the front legs to the back. It gives them a nice steady gallop. Now feel free to try walking like a giraffe as you exit. Just move your right arm as you move your right leg, and I guarantee you, you will feel absolutely silly. But it looks pretty graceful on a giraffe. Ooh, now immediately over here on our right hand side, we're going to be passing an African elephant. African elephants will travel in groups. There's going to be the main family group led by a matriarch, usually the oldest female. Male groups will travel on their own or in smaller groups. Now over here to the left, you might see that mandrill back there. Male mandrills are going to be a little larger than the females, with a more pronounced red and blue pattern on their face and backside. Now you might recognize a pretty famous Disney mandrill as Rafiki from The Lion King. That was actually good news that we saw that elephant back there. As again, male elephants will travel in those smaller groups. Now they tend to leave the family herd between the ages of 12 and 15. So right as they become teenagers. Now the good news for us is that those groups don't usually go too far away from each other, with the male groups only traveling behind by about a mile or two. So hopefully as we continue down the road, we'll be able to catch up to the rest of that family group in no time. Actually in large parts of Africa and even some parts of Asia as well, elephants are considered to be pests. In fact, many farmers lose their crops due to migrating herds of elephants. So I'm going to be honest here, can't really say blame the elephant. I mean, they're just walking by, all they see is a free buffet. It's actually up to the farmers to find peaceful solutions to not only protect their crops, to also protect the elephants from harm. It's actually based on some research that was done right here at the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. But it was discovered that elephants are terrified of bees. I know, of all things to be scared of, the little bumblebee. So farmers started to place beehives around their crops, and what they noticed right away was that was enough to keep the elephants off their land. So farmers were able to protect their crops, protect the elephants, as well as sell off some of the honey that was being produced by the bees. Works out pretty nice for the bees too, as they are essential parts of our ecosystem as pollinators. So it gives them stable and protected hives. Now it looks like we did catch up to the family herd here on our left. Now, family groups are pretty tight-knit, as it takes a whole family coming together to help raise any young that are born within the group. They're super protective of their young as well. It's because elephants have one of the longest gestational periods in the animal kingdom. It means they're pregnant for a very long time, nearly 2 years. And a newborn baby elephant is born at a whopping 200 pounds. That's a big baby. Now, coming up here on our left-hand side, it looks like we're coming up to a pool of the greater flamingo. Now, the greater flamingo are the largest of the flamingos. They're also the palest pink. Now, they're not naturally born that pink color. In fact, it takes them about 2.5 years to turn that shade. Now, they get that shade of pink from the foods they eat, which are high in beta-carotene. Now, if we were to eat foods high in beta-carotene, we wouldn't necessarily turn pink. We would see some color change, though, mostly in our fingertips and the corners of our mouth. Instead of turning pink, though, those areas would start to turn orange. Now, coming up ahead here on our left-hand side, we're coming up to a mud pit. Mud pits like this are super beneficial for animals that have more sensitive skin, like elephants and rhinos. Rhinos especially love to wallow in the mud to not only cool down, but also coat their skin in a protective layer. As rhinos can actually get sunburned just like we can. So by wallowing in the mud, they're essentially putting on their sunscreen for the day. Now, speaking of keeping cool, it looks like we're coming down to some nice shaded hillsides. Hills like this are usually good places to keep an eye out for cheetahs. Cheetahs are incredibly fast, as they can hit those top speeds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Now, they can't hold those speeds for long. They're really more of a sprinter. Once they reach those top speeds, though, they'll use that long tail of theirs like a rudder, helping them make sharp turns without losing their balance. Now, fun fact about the cheetah. Cheetahs are the largest type of cat that still has the ability to purr. So a cheetah will purr just like your normal house cat. Unlike your house cat, though, they can't retract their claws. It means their claws will remain fully extended, actually helping them to get better traction as they run. Now, coming up here on our left-hand side, it looks like we're coming up to this rock outcropping. Rock outcroppings like this are called copies. Copies usually make good vantage points for large predators, as it gives them good views over the savanna as well as a good base for their territory. Predators like the lion. Lions are more active at night. That's because during the day, a lion's eyesight is pretty similar to ours, but at night, their vision gets better. So during the day, a lion will rest anywhere between 16 and 20 hours a day. Oh, and over here to the right, looks like we're gonna get up to the white rhinos. White rhinos get their name not for their coloring, but for the Afrikaans word "wit." White translates to wide, which is used to describe their mouth shape. So here we're getting another look at the lioness. Now, when it comes to hunting, it is the lioness who brings home the bacon, sometimes quite literally. Now, the male lion that you can see up ahead, they're going to be in charge of staying home to maintain the territory and look after any cubs that might be there. A couple fun facts about the lion. The mane of hair on that male lion can weigh upwards of about 40 pounds. Oh, here's a fun Swahili lesson for you all. The Swahili word for lion is Simba. So Mufasa really just named his kid Lion. Over here to the left, if you look back towards that rock wall, you'll see a couple of the warthogs. Warthogs like Pumbaa have those long tusks that they'll use to dig out the burrows that you see down low to the ground. Actually, warthogs are the largest burrowing animal. Now, Pumbaa is also a Swahili word that translates to silly or foolish. Here we're getting another look at the white rhinos. Now, white rhinos will travel more in family groups compared to a black rhino that will travel more solitarily. But with that, my friends, it looks like we are nearing the edge of the reserve. Just up ahead is going to be the warden's post. The warden has asked that we stop by to check up on the Nigerian dwarf goats. We're just going to poke our head and make sure they're all okay. Now, Nigerian dwarf goats are very social, playful animals. They love to run, climb, jump, and well, get into things they probably shouldn't be getting into. Like the inside of the warden's truck. Brilliant. Okay. You know, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure the warden won't even notice them in there. Now, these goats may look small, but this is their full adult size. They make incredible grazers too, so they tend to eat a lot of the grazing material left behind by larger grazing animals. Now, if you would like to get a closer look at the Nigerian dwarf goats, I recommend heading over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. You can hop aboard the Wilderness Express train, head on over and visit the affection section. That'll get you up close to the Nigerian dwarf goats, as well as some pigs and other animals that you can pet over there. It's also the animation experience. A 30-minute drawing class that'll teach you how to draw some of your favorite Disney friends. That's right, in 30 minutes or less, you too can become a Disney artist. Now, if these sound like things you would like to check out, you can hop aboard the Wilderness Express train beginning at 9:30 this morning. 9:30 is the first train out there, and it'll run all day until about 4:30 in the afternoon. But if you're still excited to see even more incredible African animals out here today, be sure to go through the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. And that trail will take you up to the Okapi, as well as some underwater viewing for the hippos. Hey, if you're lucky, you might even run into the gorilla family that lives over there. Now, if there are any Wilderness Explorer Scouts on board, any Wilderness Explorer Scouts, you are on board the Simba 1. Simba 1 is your code word to pick up the safari badge. So make sure to check in with that Wilderness Explorer Scout just past our unload docks here. Now, my friends, I certainly hope you enjoyed your safari here today. If you did, my name was Tess, and I certainly enjoyed taking you around today. Unless, of course, you did not enjoy your safari here today, well then, things aren't really all